Get on your knees and scrub faster. The house is not a charity. Neither are you. The words fell heavy in the marble hallway, sharp enough to cut. She was on her knees already, hands raw, breath shallow, carrying a child while the man who once promised to protect her watched in silence. In that moment, no one in the house knew the truth that would soon turn every step they took into regret. She had been married for 3 years, and yet today she was treated like she did not belong. The woman standing near the stairs smiled softly, victory resting on her face. The husband stood beside her, arms crossed, eyes cold. They believed they held all the power. They believed she was trapped. They were wrong. Her name was Lina. She was. Not loud, she did not argue. Her strength did not rise in her voice or her posture. It lived in the way she breathed through pain, in the way she protected the life growing inside her. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Her hair was tied back. Neat, but tired. There was a softness to her face, but also something deeper. A stillness. The kind that comes from someone who has learned to survive storms alone. She had once been the heart of that house. She cooked, cleaned, laughed. She believed in love. She believed in promises. But when the other woman arrived, everything changed. At first it was subtle. Late nights, cold looks, words that cut but never screamed. Then came the orders. Isolation. It's the slow erasing of her place. When Lina discovered she was pregnant, she thought it would save her marriage. She thought it would remind him of who they were. Instead, it made her weaker in their eyes. The husband told her she was a burden. The other woman told her she was lucky to stay. And soon, Lina was no longer a wife in that house. She was help. She was silence. She was someone to be controlled. And yet, as she knelt on the cold floor, scrubbing the same spot again and again, her mind drifted somewhere else. Not to fear, not to anger, but to memory. Years ago, before this house, before this marriage, Lina had lived in a small room with peeling paint and a single window. She had worked 2 jobs. Her hands remembered the smell of paper and ink, the quiet hum of late nights spent reviewing numbers. She had learned early that money was not power. Knowledge was. She remembered the day she signed the documents, the day she made the decision no one supported. She remembered the risk, the fear, the calm that followed. No one in that house knew. That story? They only saw a quiet woman with lowered eyes. Lina had grown up watching her father lose everything because he trusted the wrong people. She learned then that kindness without boundaries could destroy lives. When he passed, she promised herself she would never be powerless again. She studied, she saved, she invested small amounts, patiently. She learned contracts the way others learned prayer. She learned to wait. When she met her husband, he was charming, ambitious, full of dreams. He spoke of businesses, expansion, success. He needed capital. She had it. Not much, but enough. She helped him quietly, legally, with paperwork, barely read. She believed they were building a future together. The house they now lived in was built on that help. The company he bragged about started with her money. Debts he feared were once absorbed by her trust, and yet none of that mattered now. Not to them. The other woman walked past Lina, her perfume heavy, her steps slow and deliberate. She spoke about plans, about travel, about changes to the house. Lina listened in silence. Bystanders existed too. Staff who watched and said nothing. Friends who visited and pretended not to see. Silence grew like a second set of walls. Each day, the demands increased. Lina was ordered to clean rooms she no longer slept in, to serve meals she did not eat, to stand aside while decisions were made about her life, and still she remained calm. Inside, fear lived. Of course it did. Fear for her child, fear of what tomorrow might bring. But fear did not control her. Patience did. There were moments alone. At night, when she placed a hand on her stomach and whispered promises, "You will be safe. I will protect you, no matter what." She kept something hidden in her drawer, a thin folder, edges worn. Inside were copies of documents, signed agreements, records of transfers, dates, amounts. She touched that folder the way others touched hope. The husband laughed often. Oh, he felt untouchable. The other woman spoke of replacing Lina entirely, of sending her away after the baby came. One afternoon, during a gathering, Lina was asked to serve drinks. Guests watched as she moved slowly, careful with her steps. Someone laughed. Someone whispered. No one defended her. The humiliation was complete. Yet in that room, a man noticed something. An older guest, quiet. He watched Lina's hands.
The way she carried herself, the way she listened.
He recognized the stillness. Later, he asked a question, a simple one, about her background. Lina answered politely, briefly. That was all it took. The next morning, a letter arrived. The husband opened it casually. His smile faded. The other woman leaned in, curious. The room grew heavy. The letter spoke of obligations, of timelines, of repayment. The company was in debt. A debt coming due. The name at the bottom made his hand shake. Lina, he laughed at first, said it was a mistake, should joke. But then came the calls, the emails, the confirmations. The truth unfolded slowly, painfully. The money that saved his business years ago had not been a gift. It had been a loan, a structured agreement. One he signed without reading. The interest was fair. The terms were clear. And the time had come. The other woman's smile disappeared. She stepped back, eyes wide. The husband looked at Lina. Really? Looked at her, for the first time in months. She stood quietly by the window, sunlight resting on her face. Calm, steady. He asked how. She answered simply, I believed in preparation when no one else did. That moment shifted everything. Meetings were called. Lawyers arrived. The house, once full of laughter and cruelty, filled with tension. The staff watched as the power drained from the man who once ruled them. Lina did not raise her voice. She did not gloat. She spoke only when needed. There is a line she shared once softly that stayed with everyone who heard it. Silence is not weakness when it is chosen. The company could not survive without her decision. The house was tied to the business. Everything was connected. The other woman left quietly. No speech, no apology. Just footsteps fading down the driveway. The husband stood alone. He asked for forgiveness, asked for mercy. Lina listened. She thought of the nights on the floor, the orders, the humiliation, the unborn child she shielded from stress and fear. Made her choice. She did not destroy him. She did not take revenge. She reclaimed what was hers. The house was transferred, business restructured. He was removed from control. Lina became what she had always been, the quiet foundation. On the day she left the house, as its owner, staff stood aside. Some lowered their heads, some whispered apologies. She walked out with dignity. There was another line she shared, one that spread far beyond those walls. Respect given late is still respect, but it costs more. Months later, Lina held her child in a sunlit room. The air smelled of clean sheets and fresh beginnings. Peace rested where fear once lived. She built a life not on anger, but on strength, and those who once believed she was nothing. Learned a truth too late. Never mistake silence for surrender. Some battles are not won with noise. They are won with patience, preparation, and quiet strength. Behind every calm face may be a story you do not know, and a power you did not expect. If this story moved you, share where you were watching from and what you felt. Subscribe for more stories that honor silent strength, unseen courage, and the power of dignity.